Okie dokie, here we are. So, do lefties actually want to fight imperialism? I think the answer is no. I think most mainstream lefties don't want to. They don't want to fight imperialism. They talk about it. Some do, like I said, but the ones that get the most attention, y'all know who I'm talking about. I'm not going to name names on this one. But they don't want to. They want to smear Jimmy Dore. They want to not even say, they don't even want to give the clarification, be like, yeah, actually TYT is kind of cringe and they've, made a lot of bad mistakes. But they don't want to do that. At least do that as a base level to say, yeah, TYT isn't good. Yeah, it's not really great what Jimmy Dore was saying about Anna Kasparian, but it's like, Anna Kasparian, has kind of done some sussy stuff as well. But of course, no. Oh, and I know people are going to say, oh, you're both siding it. No, in general, I'm just going to be honest with you. I'm pro Jimmy Dore. I am. Jimmy Dore is great at getting people angry. And I think that's good. I do. I unironically think that's good. I do. I'd rather support Jimmy Dore than ever support TYT, who, like I say, how long have they been, on YouTube and shit? How much damage have they really done? Have they really changed the system? Now we've seen, of course, now we see good old, Hassan Piker, the nephew of Cenk, go off and do his own thing now. And most of the time he's just vibing, responding to videos and shit like that, But he's obviously going to defend, his family and defend all that shit, Even though he was kicked off for being a jackass and just, fuck this, and everything else, right? But beyond that, though, they don't. Lefties, and more specifically, I always try not to be a basic bitch conservative. Anarchists, Marxist Leninists, I think to a point do, but I think just mainline, MLs, and of course, your third worldists and all that other fake, your Maoists, they're more worried about just kicking Whitey out. It's like, okay, if you just want to kick Whitey out, fine, okay. If you want to consider that imperialism, okay. But it's like, you don't have to be white to be an imperialist. But I know. People don't care about that. Like I say, it's just white people bad. I know. Anywho, but this whole bullshit and seeing, like I said, these splits are bound to happen. They are. Whether it's between, I don't know, what is it, like supporting the Soviet Union, and supporting the Bolsheviks regardless or not, or, being against the Hungarian Revolution or supporting it, all these types of, things happen on the left, supporting Rojava or supporting Assad, is another one. Because obviously Rojava does get support from the United States. They do have an ethno-state. I'm going to continue to say that. It is an ethno-state. You can look up what, Amnesty International have said. Let me go ahead and see if I can find an actual report. Not to say that, Amnesty International is some great thing, but yeah. Let's see here. So this is 2019. So let's take this with a grain of salt, but let's see what we got here. So damning evidence of war crimes and other violations by Turkish forces and their allies. Okay. Let's see here. They're talking about Rojava on this. Okay, so let's see here. Amnesty, Syria's U.S. allies raising villages amounts to war crime. Okay, so this is 2015. This is what I'm looking for, because it is true that they are burning down houses of folks. Fact-finding mission. Northern Syria uncovered a wave of forced displacement and home demolitions amounting to war crimes carried out by the autonomous administration led by the Syrian Kurdish political party PYD. Partia. I'm not going to bother. I'm sorry. The autonomous administration is a key ally on the ground of the U.S.-led coalition fighting against the armed group calling itself the Islamic State in Syria. We had nowhere else to go. Forced displacement and demolitions in northern Syria. Yep, here we go. I want to see this video, though. See what they say. Let me put it in my headphones. Oh, man, a lot of cope. A lot of cope. 190 likes to 258 dislikes. Oh, yeah. Anarchists are mad. They're butthurt. Ooh, they're so mad. Oh, my goodness. Nobody, yeah. Now Amnesty International fascists. Yep. Yep. Mm-hmm. Let me see. Let me read some of the cope on this, or did they turn off the comments? Oh, yeah. Osama must be very proud. I think this is an example of scorched earth policy, with no doubt a terrible tactic, but a common one for guerrillas to use. You have evidence from before and after the shell attack from SSA and SAA, from, yeah, Free Syrian Army and the Syrian Arab Army. Why don't you show this? I'm not saying that YPG didn't do their fair share of damage, but that is stupid and it's plain stupid propaganda. USA makes propaganda. Maybe your propaganda is fake news sponsored. Yeah. Again, saving lives. Yeah, may God be with you. Exactly, yeah. Didn't like the truth, huh? Yeah, exactly. Anyone who disliked this video has shown their extreme bias. 96 houses demolished in a single town of many, and the people were told by YPG they didn't care about housing being in their land. They only cared about people who lived in them being there. This is blatant racism, and intentions are perfectly clear in the lies and deceits. Yeah, exactly, yeah. By the way, nobody calls ISIS, yeah, Dawla Islamiyah, but Daesh, yeah, that's true. If somebody calling them, yeah, that means they're supporting them and recognizing them. So these people could be even ISIS. This is cope. Oh my gosh. By the way, nobody in that. Okay, sorry. Yeah. It's a normal deal. Yeah. Then USA supports one ethnic group. Same situation in Kosovo. Then Albania started. Yeah. Trading Serbs, but no one didn't. Yeah. No one cared. Yep. Exactly. Seems like weak sauce. If completely true, the other sides have been far worse, especially when you consider ISIS tactics. They are not opposed to sleeper cells, then pretend to be civilians and commit atrocities. I love the perceived report part too. Oh, yes, no one supported ISIS. They have an army of about 50,000 strong, controlling a population of millions that all hates them. Sure. Cope. Oh, man. Don't blame me because you failed it. Oh, my goodness. It has actually happened on people. My mother's side is ethnically German, but lived in the Czech Republic, and were pushed out when the Russians took over. Hold on there. Put it on the brakes there. Let's be honest. That's not to say that the Russians were brilliant, but the thing is, though, the Czechs themselves were nasty to the ethnic Germans. They beat the hell out of them. They ran them over. Oh my goodness. They hung kids. Oh, come on. Yeah. But give me a fucking break. Yeah, Sunni isn't a race, lol. Okay. But all this is speculation. Yeah, ISIS will accept them with open arms. Their power base is Sunni Arabs. Many of them are likely ISIS anyhow. Oh, wow. Again, if this is true, man, so what? Slap on the wrist and let's move on. The Kurds might be going 5 miles over the speed limit. But ISIS, Assad, Turkey is drunk and driving recklessly. Cope. YPG has Arabs in their own ranks and is working together with FSA units and tribal forces. They are Arab. These reports are nonsense. Cope. A lot of cope, yeah. She actually says his brother works for FSA, Free Syrian Army, and who is the actual Free Syrian Army? A bunch of groups like Barak al-Faraq in cooperation with the YPG, also al-Nusra or Jabhat al-Nusra, which is linked to al-Qaeda. Maybe this is the cause of their issue, yeah. 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 Have the same ideology, yeah. FSA also kills Yazidis sometime, yeah. Like I say, the Syrian war is such a fucking mess, to say the least. It is a fucking mess. Yeah, all this wouldn't be happening if the West didn't intervene. Absolutely, yeah. Kurdish leaders have stated the reason very clearly. 25 families does not mean ethnic displacement. It means getting rid of extremists or families with ties to extremists. Once again, it's interesting the way progressives act, where it's like, well, we do have to get rid of, you know, terrorists and everything else like that. So it's like, these guys are so full of shit. They have no morals at all, in my opinion, yeah. You're creating propaganda video for Turkey, twisting information and displaying elements to meet Turkish state interests just out of curiosity. How much they pay you. Kurds aren't angelic like soldiers the West wants you to believe. Exactly, yeah. You can go ahead and say Assad is bad, but it's like, look, you go with whoever. It's like, when the Civil War breaks out in the United States, there's going to be so much cope about, oh, they were so mean to us. Oh, but what did y'all do there? Well, that's different. You know, it's always an exception when it's your group, you know? It's a load of bullshit, yeah. Where's your report on Turkey's behavior against the Kurds? Nice propaganda from Turkey. Oh, man. Cope. Oh, so much cope. Ah, screw it. Let's go ahead and show the damn video. I'm sorry about that. Y'all are like, what the fuck is going on? I'll go ahead and share it. Why the fuck not? Let's go ahead and share the screen. Let's see here. Yeah. By deliberately demolishing civilian homes. Yeah. And it's found against IS. The autonomous administration appears to be trampling all over the rights of civilians who are caught in the middle. Yeah. Yep. They don't care. But 25 buildings destroyed doesn't mean anything. Yeah. They brought the bulldozers. Exactly. It sounds like they're learning from Israel, aren't they? Just pull out the bulldozers, start tearing down homes, you know. Of course, Rojava gets support from Israel. Yeah, they sell oil to them, but yeah. Villagers said YPG fighters had ordered them to leave, threatening them with U.S. coalition airstrikes if they failed to comply. Oh, man. See, look. It is critical that the U.S.-led coalition fighting IS in Syria and other states supporting or coordinating with it militarily do not turn a blind eye to such abuses. Yeah, exactly, yeah. YPG fighters poured petrol on a house, threatening to set it alight while the inhabitants were still inside. Exactly. Yeah, I'm definitely going to upload this video, but holy shit.
The Kurdish political party, the PYD, has taken control of 3 separate enclaves in the north and established an autonomous administration within Syria after decades of discrimination against Kurds. Areas under their control were
so now they have an ethno-state. It's ironic. It's ironic because nobody's going to say anything. They're just going to say, no, it's nonsense. It's nonsense. No, Assad is the evil one. Turkey is the evil one. Of course, they won't gauge who's worse in any sort of way by saying, well, it's still led by Bashar al-Assad. They don't say anything about that, though. Turkey, they'll be like, you know, Hayat Tahrir al-Sham is bad, but, you know, like I said, they just simplify it to Assad bad because they're such bad faith. Maybe I'm just proving my loyalty to that group, but fuck it. Honestly, screw TYT, though. Jimmy Dore can make his money. I'm not going to claim to be fully on his side, but for what he does, he's good enough, in my opinion. You know? But whatever. Let's continue.
Attack by ISIS fighters, which controlled neighboring territories. At the end of 2014, a coalition led by the United States bombed ISIS targets in the area, allowing the administration's military to push back ISIS and gain more ground. Allegations surfaced that as YPG forces expanded their control, they were forcing Arab and Turkmen families to leave the area because of long-standing grievances or retaliation for alleged support of ISIS.
They wanted an ethno-state. They also wanted their revenge, but it's okay when they do it because they have a government that they like. They have a democratic socialist government. Like I say, this is one of the easiest debunkable type things where it's like Western lefties who support Rojava do not give a shit about Kurds. They don't. They like their government. That's all it is. They say, ooh, this is an excuse for me to go over there so I can have my form of government. They treat their people so well. The fact is, though, they don't give a shit about them. Vosh has said this already, even about, Native Americans. He has said, and I quote, I don't inherently care about other cultures, I don't care that, various indigenous tribes want to, hold on to their traditions and whatnot, so that they can starve on a reservation. And like I say, these people do not give a shit. They absolutely do not care. It's just so upsetting because there's so many people who are going to fall into this bullshit. And they fall into this narrative where it's just like, U.S. imperialism is bad and we should fight it. But that's not to say that Russia, they don't realize geopolitics, do they? Or it's like, how are you going to fight it? The thing is, this is what unironically what Maoists and the folks who were like, the Paul Morin types and whatnot, who are like, well, actually, we found out that China's bad, but we're going to support the Maoist groups. We're going to support these irrelevant Maoist groups in India and in the Philippines. We're going to support those groups, which are going to have no power. They are never going to have power. I'm going to tell you that right now. Maybe I'll be proven wrong, but I doubt it on this point. I really doubt it. The Maoists will never get support. Never. I'll tell you that right now. Not on a large scale, because they're far too LARPy and they alienate people. Same thing in the U.S., though. They will never gain a huge amount of support. They will never do it because they're going to kick out all the honkies and whatnot. And they're going to say, keep the white folks out. But even then, you're going to have these folks, they're going to be talking to these, various folks that work at like, Tyson Foods or whatever. And then they find out that some of these migrants have like, a white, partner or whatever. And suddenly they're like, So they're either going to break and they're going to allow white folks in, or they're just going to continue down this line of just keep honkies out regardless, Yeah, a lot of cope.
Civilians were told to leave their homes by the military, the YPG.
For the record, I'm going to say this for the record. I want to make sure. You can dislike Assad. You can dislike Erdogan. You can dislike Putin. You can dislike any of these leaders and disagree with their policies. But regardless, Assad is doing what he has to do. The Russians are doing what they feel is right, because they have had a history going back to the Soviet Union, probably even I can't really speak for the Russian Empire, but they have had a relationship with the Assad family and with Syria. So yeah, I mean, they're going to do that. Like I say, man, you can go ahead and say, oh, my gas attacks or whatever. Nobody's going to do anything. Nobody's going to do anything. You can go ahead and keep coping about it. You can go ahead and, continue to talk about it for years on end and say how much of a fascist Assad is and whatnot. You're not going to change anything. You don't care about Syria. You only care about your silly little government, your silly little Rojava, because they have, the government that you want. That, of course, is simply a mirage. It doesn't really work that way. They will work with Israel. They work with the United States. They don't care about any other groups. But yeah, it's all Turkish propaganda, I guess.
And by the police force.
And same thing with Turkey, of course. Turkey and Syria, very complicated. I'm sure that goes back to the Ottoman Empire even more. But please explain in the comments. Obviously that centers around the Turkish city of Hatay, or Hatay, however we pronounce it, Hatay. I don't even know, bro. But the thing is, though, you can bring up Turkish-backed groups like Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, and bring up groups like, the Free Syrian Army.
Called the Asayish.
مع عوائل كاملة لا ولكن
هذا الأوضاع أو أن يبعد خطر تنظيم داعش عن المنطقة على القليل. هذا لا يعني بأنه هناك تعسف أو هناك
that there is abuse displacement.
أو هناك
2015.
Like I say, the thing is nowadays, screw that. I'm not going to upload this video. The thing is, man, don't worry, I'm not going to make y'all watch that. I was going to say, nowadays, with all this information that's out there and folks that are, translating what's being said and everything else, is that you find out nobody's a hero. It's the same way with Ukraine, right? People say, oh, yeah, Ukraine, of course, has neo-Nazis in there, whatnot. These LARPers who are just shooting place up. And arguably, they're probably, like Azov Battalion. They're arguably at least more motivated, I'll put it that way, compared to the rest of the Ukrainian military. But then, of course, they'll say, oh, but the Russians are so bad. Oh, it's just, so nobody's a hero. Everyone's bad. But people are going to make their choices. I want to repeat this point. It's like, yeah, you don't join a political group if you don't have to. But the thing is, once it comes down to a war situation, that goes out the window. I'm going to be somewhat of a hypocrite on this. Right now in the United States, you shouldn't do that, because guess what? Feds are going to catch you. They're going to roll on you. Like I say, so your alleged comrades, your buddies, they don't give a shit about you. But, when it comes to war, you're going to do what you got to do to defend your life. And, I don't know, maybe that's somewhat hypocritical of me, but I feel like, people want to get caught up in this. The original point, I'm saying this now 22 minutes in, the original point of this video was they were talking shit about Richard Medhurst, a dude who's Syrian and he's half Syrian, half British. And apparently he got caught up in some pedo stuff or something. I don't know, man. I'll occasionally watch his videos. But the thing is, it's like they never say that. They never say that about him. It's like, yeah, he's half Syrian, like I say, man. I get real paranoid about shit like that, where it's like all these niggas talking about some rando people like Richard Medhurst. It's like, how many people know who Richard Medhurst is? For real. Richard Medhurst isn't even like a Jimmy Dore. It's like he talks about U.S. imperialism, right? But he says, oh, Syria good and Iran good. But it's like, it just goes to show how so cucked these folks are, and just how it just feels like it's all like a hive mind. Like it's all been written already. It's already a script that's sent out to different folks. It's like, okay, this is the script you read from. This is the script you read from. And it's all pretty much the same script apart from a couple words, That's how it feels, where it's like it's already set up, That's why it gets so tiring being online, because when you get into it, they all say the same shit. They all pretty much agree with the same ideas, and it's just like, damn, like y'all really can't think for yourselves. Y'all just want to keep your audience and just, Anywho, I think that's all I have to say. Hopefully y'all enjoy that. See you later. Goodbye.